Imagine pouring like $3 million dollars into a state-of-the-art manufacturing plant in Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
Yep, right. You bought the best equipment, you hired this brilliant local team, and the orders are just rolling in.
Sounds like a dream scenario.
Exactly. But then one day, a minor dispute arises with the local partner whose name is on the paperwork.
Here we go.
So you take it to court, obviously, assuming a judge will look at your bank transfers, see you paid for everything, and side with you.
But that's not what happens, is it?
No. Instead, the court legally hands the entire $3 million factory over to that local partner.
Man, that is...
You have literally just bought a total stranger, a highly profitable business, completely free of charge, and you have, like, absolutely zero legal claim to it?
It sounds like a complete corporate nightmare. I mean, truly.
Well,
But that specific scenario, it plays out way more often than anyone wants to admit in emerging markets.
Right.
The assumption that, informal trust somehow overrides formal paperwork is incredibly dangerous.
yeah. And that is exactly why we are pulling apart this topic today. Welcome to the deep dive, everyone.
Glad to be here.
So Vietnam is arguably one of the world's most attractive, fast-growing economic powerhouses right now. I mean, everybody wants in.
Oh, yeah. The growth is undeniable.
But beneath that incredible top-line growth is this administrative labyrinth that catches a shocking number of foreign investors completely off guard.
It really does.
So for today's deep dive, we've got a thick stack of 2025 and 2026 legal briefings, venture capital reports, and market entry guides from top firms. We're looking at stuff from Duane Morris, Viet On Law, and Acclaim.
And the level of detail in these recent reports is it's what makes them so valuable.
Yeah, totally.
Because we are moving past the glossy investment brochures and looking at the actual ground-level mechanics of market entry.
The real stuff.
Exactly. The hidden traps and the compliance realities that basically dictate whether a business thrives or, as you said, gets seized.
So our mission for this deep dive is to serve as the ultimate customized survival guide for you, the listener.
Absolutely.
Whether you are, prepping for a high-stakes board meeting about a corporate expansion into Southeast Asia, or you're just fascinated by the hidden mechanics of global business, we are going to navigate these regulatory and cultural pitfalls.
It's going to be a fascinating ride.
It's like jumping onto a high-speed train, right? You definitely want to be on board, but if you don't buy the exact right ticket, you will get thrown off.
That is a perfect way to put it.
Okay, let's unpack this. I want to start with that terrifying factory scenario from the intro because it stems from a massive misconception I saw repeated across multiple reports.
The local partner myth?
Yes. So many foreign investors come into Vietnam falsely assuming they are legally required to have a local Vietnamese citizen as a partner just to start a business.
It's arguably the most pervasive myth in the entire region.
Wait, really? The most pervasive?
Oh, by far. I mean, in reality, for most standard sectors, so we're talking manufacturing, IT, consulting, trading, 100% foreign ownership is completely legal.
Okay.
And not just legal, it's actively encouraged by the state.
Right. They want the foreign investment.
Exactly. Yet, despite this totally open door, we still see foreign investors voluntarily giving up legal title to their own companies by using what are called nominees.
See, that makes no sense to me. I mean, if 100% foreign ownership is perfectly legal, why would an investor ever secretly fund a business but put a local person's name on all the official documents?
Two main reasons, really. Speed and the desire to dodge regulatory scrutiny.
Okay.
The Duane Morris report specifically highlighted this trend. They noted it's heavily prevalent among certain foreign manufacturing groups, though honestly it happens across the board.
So what are they trying to dodge?
Well, sometimes they use nominees to access sectors that actually are restricted to foreigners.
Okay, like what?
Things like media, pawnbroking, or certain types of real estate development.
Okay, so bypassing restrictions makes sense in a cynical kind of way.
Sure. But often they do it even in completely open sectors like manufacturing.
Why? If it's open, why hide?
Because a 100% domestically owned company, meaning a company that appears on paper to be owned by a local Vietnamese citizen, faces far less bureaucratic friction.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, especially when doing things like acquiring land leases or passing really strict fire prevention and environmental inspections.
They want the local fast pass?
Exactly. The foreign investor thinks they're buying a shortcut. So they draft this secret trust agreement with the local nominee, essentially saying, I'm giving you the money, but I really own the assets.
It's literally like having your friend hold your wallet, but legally it's their wallet now. Here's where it gets really interesting, though. What happens when that informal trust system fractures?
Well, the Vietnamese legal system does not recognize those secret trust agreements at all.
Not even a little bit.
Not at all. Ownership on paper is absolute. So, for example, if you buy property, you are issued a land use right certificate.
Right, everyone locally calls that a red book.
Yes, exactly, because of its literal pinkish red cover. If your nominee's name is on that red book or on the enterprise registration certificate, the state considers them the sole undisputed owner.
Wow.
And if you try to sue them to get your company back, Vietnamese courts will typically look at that underlying secret agreement and just invalidate it as a sham transaction.
Meaning the court throws out the secret contract and just enforces whatever the official state paperwork says.
That's right.
So the foreign investor could completely lose the company and just be left trying to sue for their original cash back.
Which can take years if it succeeds at all. And, the risk isn't just financial, it cuts both ways.
How so?
Well, the sources cite a very grim reality check. There was a tragic explosion at an aluminum smelting workshop in Hung Yen province.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And because the Vietnamese nominee was the legal representative on the paperwork, that individual faced severe criminal liability for the workplace disaster.
While the foreign funder...
The foreign funder, operating in the shadows, lost their entire physical investment overnight. It is just a catastrophic scenario for everyone involved.
That's horrifying. And reading through the newer briefings, it seems like trying to pull off this nominee structure is getting physically impossible anyway.
Well, the window is slamming shut.
Yeah.
The 2025 beneficiary owner regulations changed the game entirely.
Break that down for us.
So now, if you indirectly control 25% or more of the charter capital, which is basically the committed funding of the company,
Right.
or if you simply control the management decisions of the entity, you have to declare your true identity to the government.
You can't hide anymore.
Exactly. The state is actively building these interconnected databases for anti-money laundering and corporate transparency. The days of hiding behind a local proxy are pretty much over.
Okay, so we avoid the nominee trap entirely. We do it by the book, we set up the legal entity in our own name, and we get our official enterprise registration certificate. We are officially a business in Vietnam, but the government doesn't just want to see a nice certificate on the wall, they want to see the actual money.
Oh, yes, they do.
And the clock starts ticking immediately.
Yes, the 90-day capital injection window. This is where, honestly, well-intentioned investors often freeze their own companies completely by accident.
How does that happen? So what does this all mean for the initial setup?
Well, from the exact date your certificate is issued, you have exactly 90 days to bring your committed funds into the country.
Okay, 90 days.
But you cannot just wire $1 million into a standard checking account at a local bank.
Right, it has to go into a specific account.
Yes, a direct investment capital account or a DICA.
I saw that acronym everywhere in the Acclaim report. What actually is a DICA, conceptually?
Think of it as a highly monitored, one-way financial funnel designed specifically for foreign equity.
Okay.
The State Bank of Vietnam uses the DICA to track every single foreign dollar that enters the country as investment and every dollar that eventually leaves as profit.
Wow, every dollar.
Every single one. It is the only legal gateway. If you try to bypass it or if you miss that 90-day window to fund it, the receiving bank will automatically reject your inbound wire transfer.
So you're just locked out.
Your company is financially paralyzed, yeah, and you face administrative fines of up to 50 million Vietnamese dong.
Wait, if there's no legal minimum, why not just declare $1 to avoid the stress of transferring huge sums in 90 days? I mean, if the 90-day deadline is that stressful, why not just write down $50 on the application?
It's a common thought.
Right. Declare the bare minimum, fund the DICA easily within a week, and then just inject more cash later as the business grows. What is stopping me from doing that?
The Department of Planning and Investment, or the DPI.
Okay.
They are the gatekeepers who review your initial application, and they absolutely do not share that Western startup mentality of, figure it out later.
Right. Move fast and break things doesn't fly.
Not at all. While there's no hard statutory minimum number written in the law for most sectors, the DPI assesses your application based on sheer financial credibility.
Meaning, they look at your business plan and judge if you have enough gas in the tank.
Precisely. They expect the charter capital you declare to realistically cover your first 6 to 12 months of operational expenses.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so if you submit a business plan to lease a massive warehouse and hire 50 people, but you declare $100 in capital, the DPI knows the math doesn't work.
Obviously.
They will simply reject the application for lacking financial feasibility. In practice, local advisors suggest an absolute minimum of around $10,000 just to pass the credibility test for a basic bare-bones service company.
And you really need that initial capital because the setup doesn't end with the DECA.
Far from it.
Yeah, there is a brutal 30-day window right after you incorporate where you are hit with all these mandatory operational micro costs.
Yes, the post-setup compliance.
It's not just legal fees, it's physical stuff you have to buy immediately.
Right, because the paperwork in Vietnam is effectively just the permission to run the business. You cannot operate first and clean up the compliance later. Within 30 days, you must purchase a physical corporate seal. It's basically a stamp used to authenticate documents.
Okay.
And you are legally required to manufacture and display a physical company signboard at your registered address.
Why do they care so much about a physical signboard? That seems so old school.
Because local tax inspectors will literally drive to your registered address to verify that a real company exists there.
Wait, really? They drive there?
Yes. They need to ensure it isn't a shell corporation for tax fraud. If there's no signboard when they show up, they will lock your tax code.
Oh.
Yeah. Furthermore, you have to purchase a digital signature token. It's a physical USB drive that costs around 1 to 2 million dong.
Okay.
And that token is the only way you can legally interact with the state's electronic tax system.
That brings up the most critical trap I saw in the tax briefings, the electronic VAT invoices.
Oh, this is a big one.
Yeah, the sources make it very clear that if you don't get your VAT invoicing system set up immediately, you are essentially setting money on fire.
It is a devastating mistake for new companies.
Yeah.
I mean, in many Western countries, if you buy laptops for your new team, you keep the receipt, hand it to your accountant, and deduct it as a business expense to lower your taxable income.
Right, super simple.
In Vietnam, a standard receipt is legally meaningless for tax deductions.
Wow.
The vendor must issue you an official, state-registered electronic VAT invoice that links directly to your company's specific tax code.
So if I rush out and buy 20 laptops, pay the office rent, and hire a marketing consultant before my own company's VAT system is officially active and registered,
None of it counts.
none of those expenses count.
The tax authority views them as non-deductible expenses. You cannot use them to offset your corporate income tax later.
That is brutal.
You're absorbing the full cost with zero tax benefit.
Okay, so let's say I have my physical signboard, my digital USB token is plugged in, I am collecting electronic VAT invoices for literally every paperclip I buy, and the business is booming. We are highly profitable. Time to take that money out of the DICA and wire the profits back to my parent company in London.
Not so fast.
Right, getting the money out is just as complex as bringing it in.
The repatriation puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vietnam maintains strict capital controls to protect its national foreign exchange reserves.
Okay.
They want to ensure wealth isn't just fleeing the country and destabilizing the currency. You cannot just declare a dividend on a Tuesday and wire the cash home.
There is a very strict sequence of events.
Very strict. You can only remit profits after the fiscal year has officially ended.
Got it.
You must have fulfilled every single tax obligation, and critically, you must submit your formally audited financial statements to the local tax authority.
Okay, so all the paperwork has to be perfect.
And then you have to notify them 7 working days in advance of the actual transfer.
The rule that blew my mind in the Vietnam briefing report was about accumulated losses.
Ah, yes.
Let's say it took me 3 years to get profitable. Year 1 and year 2, I burned cash. Year 3, I have a massive banner year and make $2 million in pure profit.
A great year.
I still can't take that $2 million out, can I?
Not a dime.
That is wild.
The state mandates that a company must be completely financially whole before any wealth can be extracted.
Right.
So if you have historical accumulated losses on your books from your startup phase, you must use your current profits to entirely wipe out those historical losses first.
Oh, man.
Only when the overall net position of the company since inception is positive can you actually repatriate the surplus.
If the capital controls are that rigid, and you can't extract cash if you have a history of losses, how do fast-moving, high-risk tech venture capitalists operate?
That's a great question.
Because the whole VC model is built on funding startups that lose money for 5 years to capture market share and then cashing out. How does a VC function in that environment?
Generally speaking, they don't invest directly into Vietnam at all.
Really? They just avoid it.
Directly, yes. This highlights a fascinating structural mismatch in the Vietnamese ecosystem. Domestic capital in Vietnam heavily favors safe, tangible bets.
Oh, like real estate.
Real estate, manufacturing facilities, export logistics.
Things you can touch and see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you look for large institutional money locally, the biggest pool is the state social insurance fund.
Okay.
But legally, under Article 92 of the Law on Social Insurance, that massive fund is strictly barred from investing in high-risk assets like venture capital.
Wow.
It is public pension money, so it can only buy government bonds or secure bank certificates.
So the local tech startups are completely starved of local institutional funding. They have to look abroad.
They desperately need foreign VC money. But a foreign VC looks at the complex exit strategies, the strict repatriation rules, and the inability to quickly liquidate their position.
And they say no thanks.
Right, they refuse to put their money into a locally registered Vietnamese entity. So they force the Vietnamese founders into a major corporate restructuring.
They demand an offshore holding company.
Yes. The VC requires the startup to incorporate a parent company overseas. Typically, this is in a highly liquid, tax-friendly English common law jurisdiction.
Like Singapore or the Cayman Islands.
Exactly. The foreign VC injects their millions into the Singaporean entity. That Singaporean entity then legally owns 100% of the operational subsidiary down in Vietnam.
It's like building a beautiful, highly profitable house in Vietnam, but insisting the front door is located in Singapore just so you can walk out easily.
That's exactly it. Because when the VC eventually wants to sell the house, they don't want to deal with the Vietnamese tax authorities or the 90-day DICA regulations.
Right. They just sell the keys to the front door in Singapore.
Exactly. It provides the liquidity and exit flexibility the VCs require, while still allowing the founders to operate, hire, and grow their product within the vibrant Vietnamese market.
But regardless of where your corporate front door is located, the actual humans doing the coding, the manufacturing, and the selling are located in Ho Chi Minh City or Hanoi.
Right, the boots on the ground.
And managing human capital in this market comes with an entirely different set of hidden rules and costs. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's a huge factor.
The human element is where many foreign employers face their steepest learning curve. Even something as simple as upper management has strict geographic rules.
Oh yeah, the legal representative trap.
Yes. A company must have a legal representative, usually the general director or a senior executive who physically resides in Vietnam.
The 30-day residency rule, right
That's
there.
the one. If that legal representative needs to leave the country for more than 30 days, say, for an extended business trip or a family emergency back home, they are legally required to appoint a substitute in writing before they depart.
And if they don't?
If they simply board a flight and stay gone, the business is in direct breach of the law.
Wow.
Your corporate seal might be invalidated, your ability to sign commercial contracts is frozen, and you might even lose access to your bank accounts.
Over a long vacation.
Basically, yeah. You must have real, authorized, boots-on-the-ground leadership.
And when it comes to the broader workforce, a lot of foreign managers look at the baseline salaries in Vietnam and think they're getting an absolute steal.
They do. It's a common trap.
But the actual cost of an employee is significantly higher than that monthly number, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The base salary is just the starting calculation. Foreign employers often suffer major sticker shock when the actual payroll is run because they fail to budget for the mandatory add-ons.
Right. Break down the true cost of a hire for us.
As an employer, you must contribute an additional 20 to 25% premium on top of the gross salary for mandatory state benefits.
Wow, 25%.
Yeah, it breaks down to 17.5% for social insurance, 3% for health insurance, and 1% for unemployment insurance.
Plus the cultural expectations, which aren't technically laws, but function exactly like them. I'm looking at the 13th month salary, the Tet bonus.
Right, paid just before the Lunar New Year. And many foreign companies mistake this for a Western-style performance bonus.
But it's not.
It is not. It is deeply ingrained in the culture as an expected part of the annual compensation package.
So you can't just skip it if you had a bad year.
If you decide to withhold the Tet bonus because of a slight dip in company performance, you will severely damage your workforce morale.
Oh, I bet.
And you will likely see a wave of resignations immediately after the holiday. Plus, you also have to factor in standard monthly cash allowances for meals, parking, and mobile phone usage.
The workplace culture itself requires a massive adjustment, too. The sources emphasize the consensus-driven nature of Vietnamese offices, the deep importance of indirect communication, and the concept of face-saving.
It's very different from the West.
Yeah, you cannot just drop an aggressive, call-out culture, Western management style into a Vietnamese office.
Public criticism or confrontational management will alienate your team immediately. Respect, harmony, and preserving the dignity of your employees in front of their peers are highly valued.
Wait, if the labor laws are so fiercely protective of employees with strict termination rules and long probations, and the culture places such a high value on harmony and loyalty, why are all the HR reports warning foreign companies about massive job hopping?
That's a good point.
It feels like a total contradiction. If people are protected and comfortable, why do they leave?
It seems contradictory until you look at the macroeconomic talent pool. The labor laws protect the baseline, but raw supply and demand dictate actual behavior.
Okay, how so?
There is a massive talent shortage in specific high-value areas. We're talking particularly in software engineering, digital marketing, and experienced bilingual middle management.
So the demand for talent vastly outstrips the supply of qualified workers.
Exactly. And because of that scarcity, the employees in those specific sectors hold all the leverage. They know exactly what they're worth.
Right.
Foreign firms that rely solely on being legally compliant with labor laws, but don't actively invest in strong employer branding and transparent, rapid career growth paths, they will just bleed talent.
So they'll just jump ship.
Candidates will easily jump to a competitor for a 15% raise and a slightly better job title simply because the market allows them to.
Which means compliance keeps you out of trouble with the government, but only active engagement and development will keep your business actually functioning.
That's the reality.
We have covered a massive amount of ground today. We navigated the dangerous illusions of the nominee traps and the reality of the Red Book.
A lot of hidden pitfalls.
Definitely. We mapped out how to beat the 90-day DECA capital countdown and survive the micro costs of VAT invoices and physical signboards. We solved the repatriation puzzle by looking at how VCs use offshore holding companies in Singapore, and we accounted for the true, fully loaded cost of local talent.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. So if you are currently plotting your own global expansion or just trying to understand the friction points of international supply chains, you now hold the map to this incredibly lucrative but heavily guarded market.
It requires meticulous planning and a willingness to respect the administrative machinery. The rewards for those who get it right are substantial. But, as we look at all these systems we've discussed today, it raises an important question about where this is all heading.
Oh, I'm curious to hear your take on the future here.
Well, we've spent this deep dive talking about legal frameworks, physical signboards, and tax compliance as they exist today.
Right.
But Vietnam is rapidly digitizing its entire state apparatus. We touched on the mandatory electronic invoices and the digital signatures.
Yeah, that's already happening.
And the government is actively building interconnected beneficiary ownership databases to track exactly who owns what.
The system is transitioning from paper files to interconnected digital networks.
Exactly. So as artificial intelligence and automated state surveillance inevitably integrate with these new digital systems, what happens to the so-called gray areas of emerging markets?
Yeah.
When a database automatically flags a missed 90-day capital deadline without a human inspector needing to even notice, or an AI instantly cross-references a local nominee's modest tax profile against a massive corporate DICA account and freezes it automatically.
Human discretion completely disappears.
It vanishes.
That is a fascinating thought. The appeal of many emerging markets has always been that slightly Wild West, high-growth environment where entrepreneurial risk-takers can operate fast and loose.
Exactly.
If the loopholes completely vanish overnight because of algorithmic perfect enforcement, does the market actually become more attractive to the massive global corporate giants who love strict compliance, or does it lose the very spark that built it?
It completely changes the profile of who can successfully survive there. I mean, the ultimate barrier to entry moves from who do you know locally to how flawless is your data?
Something for you to ponder until next time. Because that economic engine is only getting faster, and the conductors are trading in their paper punches for digital scanners. Make sure your paperwork is perfect.